A few years ago, at a church in Washington, D.C., a paratransit driver, earning minimum wage with no health benefits, was speaking in front of a packed church, filled with transit riders, politicians, and community groups. The driver talked about how she struggled trying to make ends meet, how she had become homeless, but still found a way to get her daughter to school and herself to work every day. She directed some of her comments to a mayor, comments at the mayor that was attending, saying that the city should pay her a fair wage for an honest day's work instead of outsourcing her job to a private company that paid poverty wages and having the government provide her with food stamps and affordable housing. Larry was sitting nearby. He wanted the world to hear her story. He once again was seeking justice in a city surrounded by wealth and power. Yep, that's how Larry rolled. Just like that night in D.C., I see many elected officials here today, or will be here today, here to pay their respects of our great friend and leader. If one of you had chosen the side of wealth and power over the side of a bus driver or a mechanic, Larry would have let you have it. Oh yes, you may still be friends and allies, but you knew never to go there again with Larry. At the end of the day, the people who Larry cared about the most were his family and his members. Members like the transit workers in St. Louis, who went without a raise for almost a decade. Larry had mobilized the ATU to fight back. This, Larry said, was as much about racism as it was about wages.
Yep.
Members like the countless numbers of drivers who've been attacked behind the wheel for what Larry calls neighborhood tax collectors. Larry also brought hundreds of members to Capitol Hill, asking Congress to pass the ATU Transit Worker and Pedestrian Protection Act. And when it passes, hundreds and thousands of transit workers will finally be able to report to work and come home safely. Whether it is a pension, so you could retire with dignity, a health care plan that was a true health care plan rather than a plan not to get sick, a fair wage that allows you to provide your family, a restroom so you can have dignity in the workplace. These fights were our fights, and Larry made sure we fought them. Larry transformed the ATU over his last 9 years at the helm. The labor movement was struggling. Transit workers were facing layoffs in the thousands. Privatization was off the charts. Corporate greed had somehow become okay. All the while, Larry fought back and asked us all to fight with him, and most of us have and always will. Even during this past year, while Larry's health was failing, his priority was the 200,000 members of the ATU. Throughout everything, Larry remained humble. Whenever anyone would call him President Hanley, he would say, "Larry, please call me Larry." Larry was a big man, a giant, and it's in many, many ways larger than life itself. He was a guy who stayed up late most nights, always worried about the little guy. I know this. I have the 3 a.m. text to prove it.
You sure do.
On a personal note, Larry, I will miss your tremendous sense of humor. I will miss your loud and crazy laugh. I will miss your wonderful stories. I will miss your love of labor history. I will miss your Irish folk music. Yes, Larry, I will miss it all and more, but most of all, I will miss you, my friend. So, Larry, please know, we've got your back. You showed us the way. We will do our best to follow your vision. We will teach the next generation of ATU members about what it means to look out for your sisters and brothers. You can rest now, my friend. You earned it. You earned it, and you've earned our eternal gratitude and respect. Thank you, boss.